Let's see. Hi, everyone. See how many people are gonna jump on today. Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. It's about 2 p.m. where I'm at, so hello. Happy pink moon, everyone. Did everyone get a pretty clear view of it last night, or it was like super big and close and clear, and then it got covered up by all these like cumulus clouds, but they were kind of broken up, so it was really beautiful both ways. But I was glad that I got a good view of it. So hello, everyone. Hello. Happy full pink moon. I guess I don't need to say full pink moon, that's redundant. It was a super moon though, so the pink moon is not always a super moon. Oh, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I had it blonde for a lot of years. You know from my previous videos that I've had lavender, like a sort of a jewel purple, a Tiffany blue, a lot of colors. But I had it platinum for many years, probably, I don't know, probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And then with the lavender, occasionally I would go to, because that's easy to go from platinum to lavender. But I thought I would do a sort of watermelon color for this year, and I'm really loving it. I didn't actually realize how much of this color I already wore, so I guess I really like watermelon colors and peach colors. So yes, it was very. The moon was very clear here last night for a good amount of time, so it was very enjoyable. I had the full pink moon service last night, which was really wonderful. And then we actually have, let me see here if I still have this. Yeah, I do. If anyone still wants to get in on the, I'm going to post the link now. If anyone still wants to get on the super pink moon reading, I'm posting the link now. Those will still be offered throughout today. So hello, everyone. Yeah, so I just thought I would come on here. I'm sort of catching up on scheduling today. I had to send out some reports. I sent out the reports for the Pink Moon service. And so I'm just sort of catching up on sort of back end things today that aren't production, but that are still absolutely necessary for me to operate. So, and another thing that I did, let me see if I have it right here. Pardon me for just a second, is I did a pink moon oil last night. So this has alkanet root, selenite, rose quartz. Every bottle will have its own rose quartz pieces in it. It has orchid from my own orchid plants, stargazer lily, pollen, violets, which are like one of my favorite manifestation herbs. Yeah, so there's lots of really great, beautiful stuff in here. So I'm gonna, obviously it's limited. I just made a small jar of it. And this is all focusing on, last night's moon was such a big deal. It was in Scorpio, but it had all this Venusian energy. So there were a couple of ways that people were interpreting it, and I have no issue with different interpretations of it. It's all about how you manifest. I'm personally a Sagittarius, and we manifest really well at the full moon. When a lot of people are doing a lot of clearing and sort of clarity and like removing blockages at the full moon, that's not what I use it for. I use it for manifesting. So for me, what I focused on with you guys this time was really focusing on the aspects of passion and joy and beauty and glamour and luxury and success, bringing that balance back into our lives. Still going into a balance aspect, but I'm trying to balance out everything that's happened like over the last year with this. So that was my motivation and my inspiration with it. So I did keep in the balance thing and the removing of, by inviting those things in, we are removing the things that did not make us feel that way, right? So, removing, a sense of lack, a fear of abundance, a fear of success, self-sabotaging behavior, imposter syndrome, things like that, because we have to sort of negate those or balance those out. Those things are always going to creep back in, of course. Can you guys comment, make sure that I'm still connected here? It doesn't look like I'm connected, so I just want to make sure. Let me see. I'm just going to type in here. Okay, so it looks like we're still connected. So those are the things I was working on sort of in my own interpretation of balancing. Yeah, so the oil that I did is about the same. It's the same energy, right? It's just about removing all of those energies of lack, those feelings of lack that 2020 sort of put into us, scarcity, fear, and balancing them out, okay? And trying to balancing it out by removing that stuff and getting in all of the great stuff that is anti all that. So, which is one of my areas of sort of specialty is to not only remove things that need to be removed, but then when you do removal work or open roads work or blockbuster work, anything like that, so what happens is you're going to remove whatever you want to remove, or you're going to open those roads, but then there's nothing there. So it's kind of like having a pot with just dirt in it, and you pulled the weeds out that were growing in there, but the pot's still sitting there empty with dirt in it. You didn't put any beautiful flowers back in it, so you're not really growing anything. So you have to have you have to have that energy and that goal ready to be the catalyst to what you want to manifest, or else it's just going to sit there as an empty pot of dirt, which is neutral. There's nothing bad about it, but I mean, is it producing anything for you to enjoy? And the answer would be no to that. So I've just posted a link to the oil. Anybody who wants to get the oil, it is in the feed now. Anybody who wants to make sure that they get a bottle of that. So that was my whole that was my focusing on last night, and it was a really beautiful, energetic ritual. And I woke up, I was a little tired today, but it was also like a really great opening and welcoming sort of state for me too, because I always say that, doing this type of work for other people is, when you manifest for others, you're also manifesting for yourself. So that's just, I think it's just inherent. I think that's just what I believe. That's just what happens. So, and I have some book reviews coming up. I'm hoping to sit down after this and read, try to finish them up. The first thing that will be coming up is an unboxing of this. So this is Hedge Witch Botanical Oracle, which I'm super excited to unbox. I'm not going to go too much into it here because, like I said, I have to do a whole video on it. So because I just wanted to dive right in and start telling you what I loved about it, but I kind of have to save it. It is an oracle deck, not a tarot deck. So that is definitely going to be one of the things that I'm going to talk about with that. The next one, this one is like the New World Witchery by Corey Hutchinson, who does New World Witchery podcast, which is my favorite podcast of all time. Actually, I will link them right now for you also, because it's really the only podcast that I listen to. I have a really hard time with a lot of podcasts. It sounds like it's usually just a lot of sort of, people sitting around with their friends and like chatting. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not what I'm looking for in a podcast. I'm looking for education, and I'm looking for interviews with people who are in my career field. So, yeah. So, but yeah, he's amazing. So I'm super excited to read this book. And I can tell you by now, if any of you listen to that podcast, like, this book is no joke. It is going to be packed full because I know how he researches. So the other one I'm going to do a review on is American Brujeria. So this is Alan Cross. You can find him on Instagram at Oregon Wood Witch, I think. Let me see if I can look him up for you guys right now. I'm sure he would appreciate a follow. I was really excited to find this book. It's sort of, I was excited to see something that was educational and not like, I hate this term right now. I don't hate the term. Because it is a necessary term to have right now, but the gatekeeping thing that's going on right now. So it's really nice just to have a book out there so that people can educate themselves. Not saying that everybody is going to practice this or that everybody is qualified to practice it, but I think it's always wonderful to be educated about other paths, traditions, and religions. So. Yep, so I just posted a couple of links there, one to the podcast that I love, and then one to Oregon Wood Witch, who's the author of American Brujeria. So I'm very excited to dig into those. So what is happening with you guys? What's going on with you this week did you celebrate the full moon? What are you guys working on right now? I was wondering if I could ask for some advice. I tend to feel incredibly tired, drained, and suffer headaches on and around the full moon. Just wondering what I can do to help or alleviate this. Do you normally work with the full moon, or are you not because of those symptoms? I think that a lot of times when there's an energy we should be learning how to work with and acknowledge and direct. We can sort of have adverse experiences, but that's not a reason to shut it out. Hi, everyone. A couple new people just got on. Yeah, so I guess that's what I would need to know. I would make sure that you're doing a lot of grounding and preparing before it, but I would really try to learn to work with that energy. So I would make sure that you're grounded and cleansed and prepared. You can see my cat. I think she's playing with something. And then I think you should really try to work with it if you do not normally work with it. I think because you need to find, if that's what you're experiencing, you need to find a way to control what you're experiencing, right? Because you are in control of your own body. So there are some things that you need to develop. And through exercise, you will strengthen that, and you will be able to deal with the energies of the full moon better. So I would look at maybe some drawing down the moon rituals, things like that. Look up some lunar or even lunar spell work. Do you tie in your spell work to the lunar phases? Yeah, grounding, making sure that you've eaten really well that day, really healthfully. Lots of water. Somebody's mentioning to hydrate. Thank you, Kim. Those are all really good things to make sure that your physical vessel is in tip-top condition. I mean, I like working out and everything. I know you guys see me posting my gym pictures on Instagram. I like working out and everything, but the truth is that I have to stay really healthy in order to handle the client load that I have. So people think it's not related, that you can just eat garbage and you can like be a couch potato and everything and you can do spiritual work for other people. But I'm telling you, that's not true. You're not going to be able to manifest properly and you are going to get worn out and sick. So that's why you have to take really good care of your vessel. You know, even for me, yeah, I have a big client load, but even for somebody like you guys that are just wanting to work with work with the moon phases or do your own spell work or anything like that, you need to stay healthy, you know. I'm actually going to be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm back. Sorry about that. I realized I didn't have any water after I was just sitting here telling you all to drink water. How about anybody else? How's everybody else doing out there? Lizzie. She's going to ignore me because she's a cat. That's what she does best. Let's see. Yeah, I hope that helps, Simone. I don't really know. Like I said, I think you should just work on developing it more so you can, your spirituality and how you deal with these energies is just like a muscle. So the more that people ask me that question all the time, how come you don't get exhausted? And it's like, I've been doing it for 20 years for one. And so, that's a muscle that has been exercised every day for me for the last 13 years. And then before that, I wasn't doing it full time, but I was doing it a lot. So this is Tarot with Shabanu. Hi, you look so beautiful. Thank you. I wanted some advice on offerings for candle rituals and on altars. What can we give and what do we do with the offerings after ritual? Dispose of them. Hi, I actually have a lot of videos on this. So, because it's a really common question, I probably have 3 or 4 videos on this. Your offerings are going to depend on who you're working with or what you are trying to accomplish. So that's where you need to learn your correspondences. You need to learn like what flowers, fruits, liquids, things like that are corresponding to the energies or the deities or the saints or whatever you're working with. So that's not really something I can tell you. That comes through research. That's just something you're going to have to study and research on your own. And then disposal afterwards is always disposal outside. So, but like I said, I have 3 or 4 videos on this. So you're welcome to go back through my YouTube channel and I have lots of videos on offerings. Oh, good. Yeah, thanks, Brian. Blessings to you, too. I don't know what's going on with this person, but they look weird. So I just had to put them in timeout because I don't know. That person was getting weird. Oh, the joys of the internet. I just ordered both books. Yeah, I've done. Oh, you know what? I didn't put the other one up here either that I'm doing first. I forgot. That's okay. I'm probably about like a quarter of a way through each of those. So are there certain crystals you feel really drawn to when working with the full moon? If so, what are they and how do you use them for manifestation? I do. And by certain crystals, I'm going to show you a couple of specific pieces I use for me personally. They have probably nothing to do with how anybody else works with the full moon. So I use this one for this large carnelian piece. Carnelian is just something that I'm very connected to. So It's a little bit difficult to explain. I have like personal relationships with these specific pieces of stone, and it's not that they correspond to like lunar correspondences or anything like that. It's just about what they represent to me. That can be color, shape, energy, and how I use them in gridding on my altar. The other ones that I always use during the full moon, I really like this piece of ametrine that a friend sent me. And then I have lots of lapis pieces. Lapis is a really great stone for Sagittarius, so I work with lapis a lot. I do use moonstone, and I do use selenite. Now those two are lunar gemstones. So I use them in gridding, but I don't use those. I have moonstone that I wear, but I don't use like selenite personally for myself. It's not something that I really energetically jive with. I was here to dispose of money ritual remnants around your home, but I live in a city or an apartment. I take it to the park. Yes. When I said to dispose of offerings outside, I was speaking of offerings in general. When somebody says, what do I do with my offerings? I'm talking of offerings is what you put out for a deity, a saint, a god or goddess, an ancestor. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Food, fresh flowers, liquors, things like that. Spell remnants are not the same as offerings. So spell remnants, and I also have a video on this. If it's something you want to keep, like say a money spell, then you would want to bury it around your home or property because you want to keep the prosperity. If it's something you want to go away, like say it's a reversal spell and you're trying to remove something, that should be taken off your property and disposed of because you don't want it on your property. So this is all just logic, right? Those are logical things to do. You think of, okay, I want to keep this thing, so I'm going to keep it on my property. I don't want this thing, so I'm going to remove it. I was wondering what type of work you feel this full moon is most beneficial for. Hi, Stragone. I'm not sure how to say your name, or Stragony, maybe. There are lots of posts on my Instagram and on my Facebook page about the ritual I just had last night for the full moon and sort of what it was for. There are also, you can probably scroll back. I put up a couple of links. One is to my pink moon oil. That's going to kind of tell you what the full moon was for. But if you rewatch this again after it's done, I'm going to cover all that because I just had a big conversation on that. But thank you for asking. How are you offering your moon readings, phone or video chat? Readings are always email only. It's through a voice recording. We don't offer phone or video chats to preserve our privacy. Yeah, no, I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, Kim. I'm just saying, I'm saying what is the traditional technique. You do it however you have to do it. But I'm just telling you what the rules are.
Yes.
Yes, that's what most people would do. They would be putting it in a plant pot in their home and growing a plant over it. That's the most common way for people who live in apartments to keep their prosperity work in them is to, put the remnants, the coins, the petitions, you wrap them around the coins or wrap them around a dollar bill or a $5 bill or whatever and plant those underneath a plant. Say you would start some basil seeds or some parsley or some mint, something that correlates to prosperity spell work. Especially this time of year, springtime is a perfect time to be doing spells like that. Oh, I'm sorry that your father has passed away. I really am, but I am not qualified to give any type of grief counseling, so that's not something that I'm going to broach. I don't want to be, that's just not an area that I'm trained in or qualified in, and I would hate to give you some sort of advice that adversely affected you. So while I am extremely sorry for your loss, that is not an area. I'm not a grief counselor. I'm sorry. I just purchased a 100-year-old home with a shady history. I want to thoroughly cleanse the home before I move. What do you suggest? Um, I recommend a when you go in and mop the home, I recommend that you do it with bluing and Florida water. And this after you've already mopped once to clean it. This is not for cleaning. This is for metaphysically cleaning. So after you've already mopped it once, you mop it again with a mixture of bluing and Florida water. You're going to want to put red brick dust down at the lines of the doors and the lines of any gates outside. You can do the same thing with black salt. And I'm going to recommend that you fumigate it heavily with frankincense resin. So hopefully those will be enough to cleanse it out. You may also want to put up some protection items, hagstones, some square iron nails, some evil eye amulets. But the cleaning with the bluing and the Florida water are going to be really, really important, and so is the frankincense resin. A lot of people want to go in there and bog it out with sage, and sage is fine, but it's not for that type of. It's not for. That's not what I would recommend for this. So. Yeah, Stragony, Stragone, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Yeah, I understand what you're asking, but that's not. People have a tendency to think that spiritual workers are sort of like a jack of all trades, and we're not. And I don't deal with anything with passed on loved ones or grief or anything like that. So I'm sorry, but that's not in my professional realm. I love your videos, so informative. I wish to ask if you experience a lot of spiritual activity in your home because of the work that you do. I ask this because this happens in my home when I do candle work. Um, like probably, but it's probably so normal now that I don't even think about it. I'm very clear when beginning a work day for clients who is welcomed and who is not. Those are very strict boundaries. As many of you know from watching my videos or participating in my lives, I have no problem setting boundaries. Um, so the only one, so any energy that is around is here to help me facilitate things or to help with progress. So, I don't have negative experiences because those aren't the energies that are invited in and that I'm working with. So I don't know if hopefully that answers your question. Hi, Brian. You are welcome to. I had posted the link earlier on this video. The readings aren't with me. I haven't done the readings in 5 years. So, but my head reader, Diana, does the readings. So you're welcome to book using the link that I have posted. Hi, yes, you caught me live. Aside from home protection, what can you use railroad spikes for? Those are mainly used in, what do I want to say? Property management or home protection type work. Like a lot of people will nail one down in each corner of their property so they don't lose their house or their property. That was actually a really big thing happening in 2020. A lot of people were trying that. But it being made of iron, it being four-sided, it being sacred to Ogun, um, that's just the nature of that symbol, is it being for protection. So I mean, you could technically use it to nail down anything you wanted to on your property. You could put a piece of paper around it, or hammer it through a petition paper that's stated your goals on it. So, but it is inherently, because of the materials it's made out of, because of the numbers associated with it, it is just going to be inherently for protection. So I hope that helps a little bit. Hi, Brian. I had already answered your question. So you've answered that. You've asked that twice. So I'm not sure if you're missing it or. I have a comment here I need to review, so I need to make sure that it's appropriate. Um, it looks okay. Just for your guys' information, if you swear on the feed, it's gonna require me to approve the comment. So I'm just gonna take me a minute to read it. Oh, they're just some mod sort of Art Deco, probably made out of lucite earrings. They would call this a fountain, sort of a fountain design in Art Deco. Hi, Bohemian Girl. I actually sell railroad spikes on my site. I go and collect them. They are legal to pick up as long as you do not remove them from the railroad tracks. If they are already, the trains, the vibrations will work them out over time. So if they're laying by the railroad tracks, you can pick them up. You just cannot, even if it's sticking out this much out of the railroad track, you cannot remove it. That is illegal. So you can only take the ones that are laying besides the railroad tracks. But like I said, I do offer them on the site. If you don't have anywhere to go get them yourself, or you don't want to, or a lot of people are concerned about, legalities, or they don't want people seeing what they're doing or whatever, I do offer them on the site. So. Have you always been drawn to working with the Orisha? How did you find your deities you work with? Hi, Simone. I actually have a lot of entries on this on my blog, which is linked on my website. I actually just posted on some stories about this on my Instagram. But they find me. I always go back to this with people, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but it's really, you have to really research your mythology. And be really educated in it, so you know what symbols are associated with what deity. So when those symbols appear to you, you know who's trying to contact you. So that's how all of mine found me, was that I kept having, and like I said, I have many stories. If you go to my Instagram, I have many detailed stories of specific happenings that led me to working with the deities that I work with now, or the spirits or the saints that I work with now. So I probably have some videos on it here too. Actually, the last one I posted, I think, was about my connection with Mama Brigitte, and then her, which was Aloha, and then her Orisha counterpart, Oya. And that was the last story that I had posted on my Instagram, was the symbols and the messages I was receiving to let me know that that was her. So it's really, I studied my mythology and other cultures in college in comparative religion, and then in international studies. So, I had 6 years of studying things like this. So, and it was, it was easy for me because I was interested in it. My path is not separate from my career, and it's not separate from my life, and it's not separate from my education, and it's not separate from my personal interests and hobbies. So these aren't things that I had to sit down and force myself to pour over books to learn. It was a natural, I have 25 years of education in this stuff. It's a long time, so I have a ton of black sesame seeds. I can't think of what their magical properties are. Black sesame seeds? I don't know. I know black mustard seeds are used for, but I don't know about black sesame seeds. I'm sure you can Google it, though, and you can find out. Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying your red brick dust. Hi, JG. Yes, I would recommend that you look up. I don't know what the nature of your case is, but you are either going to want to work with, if there's jail time involved, you're going to want to work with Ochosi. If it's anything that has to do with a women being involved, women's rights, anything like that, um, needing favor for a woman, you're going to want to work with Oya. And if there are children involved at all, you're going to want to work with Ogun. So you're going to want to look up the offerings for those. And you guys can always use the search bar on my website. I have all kinds of offering information typed out under every single listing. So all you have to do is you can use my site as a resource. You can type in any, not any deity or Orisha, because there's like millions, but any of the ones that I'm familiar with, that I work with, you can type those into the search bar and you can read about what their offerings are. I usually have at least 3 to 5 paragraphs under each Orisha or Loa or Espiritismo, spirit, My top 5 favorite flowers to use in work and their correspondences. Um, oh man, I use a lot of flowers. I have fresh flowers delivered twice a week, and then I usually end up going out and buying more for offerings. So I go through a lot of flowers. Um, you know what? It depends on the time of year. I'm seasonal. I use seasonal flowers. So roses are almost always a staple because you can cover protection and love and strength and beauty and glamour with that one plant. So that's a main staple for me. Right now, I would be using a lot of violets and lilies, forsythias, narcissus, apple tree blossoms. As the summer goes on, I'm going to use more things like sunflower and gladiola, and I work with the natural cycles. So whatever is blooming around me at that time, that's what I'm going to use. The same thing with food offerings. I'm very, very in tune with the cycles. I worked as a horticulturist for 10 years. So I worked on a farm for 10 years. Um, I'm very, very in tune with my native plants, my native land, and the seasonal correspondences. So, but I mean, so it really depends what you have around you in your area is what I'm going to tell you to learn about and work with, because it's most important to learn about the native plants of our area, because it helps us learn more about our soil content, more about our land. It's something that helps you attach to your region. What rituals can I do to sell a house fast? I don't, I mean, I don't use pre-written rituals. Sorry. And I don't write them for people either. So I have my own. You're welcome to look up my video on how to set up a working. And that gives you step by step what I do for every situation. So I'm sorry, I don't use pre-written rituals or spells. So I can't just be like, oh, here's one. I use the same method with different correspondences to correlate to what I'm doing. I know everybody wants that. I know everybody wants like what spells for this and what spells for that, what spells for that. But once you learn the basic method of manifesting, you're just interchanging your correspondences to the work that you're trying to accomplish. So nothing else changes. It's the same. It's like baking a cake. You just change the flavors of the cake to get a different cake. That's really the best way I can explain it. What goddess should I work with for pregnancy? This is Diana Scorpio. I don't know what pantheon you're already. Are you pregnant or are you trying to get pregnant? And I don't know what pantheon you're currently working with. My first suggestion is to tell you to find whatever fertility goddess is in your current pantheon that you work with. But if you give me some more information, I could probably help you a little bit better. You're trying to get pregnant. Okay. So I would recommend Yemeya is who I would recommend for that. Once you are that's my go-to, unless somebody is completely has an aversion to working with that Orisha. So, but like I said, if you have a pantheon you're comfortable with, you should research whatever is in that. For my clients, that's who I work with for fertility is Yemeya. All right, I got just a few more minutes on here. You guys have been lovely today with all of your questions. I'm hoping I got everything. Yeah, anybody looking for a specific spell, all you have to do is go to my YouTube channel and look up how to set up a basic working. That's what the name of the video is. And it's going to show you, now it's going to be a very, again, like it says, basic, it's going to be like a beginner setup. It's not exactly what I do, but it's the basic steps. So, hello. Marie Laveau is a canonized saint now, so she was a person. So some people will argue that some of the Loa were actual real people, but most people will say that they are not, that they're spirits. But Marie Laveau was a real person, so she's not considered a Loa. She's considered a saint. You could also work with Oshun as well. I'll usually do like a combination of that. So, because I kind of start out working with Yemeya for fertility and then move to Oshun like throughout the pregnancy. Hi. Okay, Stragone again, or Stragony. Yes, there is. I don't know. I don't know what else you want me to say. Like, yes, it can be done. That's actually a service that I offer, is an amicable separation service, because people have this sort of notion that like divorce work should be this like really like awful, treacherous, chaotic, like angry, make them fight so they get a divorce thing. But it's like, if you're trying to facilitate a divorce, why do you want that person to be going through all that chaos and that hurt if you want them to come try to be with you? I know this doesn't apply to your situation. I'm just speaking in general from what I hear from people. So wouldn't you want that person to just be out of that marriage like as soon as possible, like easy, breezy, cut and dry, finances split down the middle, no argument, everything's peaceful, their partner's not coming by your house, they're not calling your house, they're not threatening you, you don't have to get a private protection order. Like, everybody has this weird, I don't know why people want to be so destructive with divorce work. Like, it's completely ass backwards. Like, why would you want to do that? Why you want to involve somebody you care about in that? And also, it'll just go faster if everything is peaceful and amicable and everybody agrees on everything. So divorce work is not messy. It's not chaotic. So I don't know where people get that from. I see people, offering workings, and it's like, for some, the stuff they're using in separation services is like the most like vile ingredients, and it's like, why? That's so unnecessary. It's like, it makes me think people might not know what they're doing. I'm not, I'm not, I'm just saying, it kind of looks like people don't know what they're doing. Yes, I would recommend, I mean, I need an old, I would recommend Lost in Away work is what I would recommend. You can look it up on my site. There's directions for it. So you're going to have to tweak it a little bit, but that's what I recommend. That's not exactly what I would use, but that's going to be the easiest thing for me to explain to you. So, hi Romany Tarot. Everybody's on here with tarot in their name. That's like crazy. Anything we can do for fertility? I'm having issues with my period. I don't want to take medication anymore. I don't know. I don't want to give medical advice, and I don't know why you're having the issues. And so I don't want to give advice on things that I don't know about because I feel like that's lying. So, I know I see people do videos and people ask questions and they got an answer for everything. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have an answer for everything. And I'm not going to give you medical advice when I'm not qualified. So what is a rough idea of glamour magic? To change your aura? That's exactly what it is. To change your aura when it suits you. So it's to your benefit. I think most people know how to do that to some point already. Most adults, I will say, know how to do that. We know what to say around certain groups of people, or we know what to do to get things that we want. It's just expanding on that. It's just these are all skills we all already have, most of us anyway. It's just expanding on that. I do work with Moldavite. Yeah, I work with Moldavite. I have a lot of textites that I use. I have a lot of the Fugilite. Yes, I do work with those types of stones. No, I'm sorry. I don't offer lessons or anything like that. So I appreciate you asking, but no, I don't do that. All right, I'm going to start wrapping it up, guys. So if anybody has any last questions. It's just like this year, I don't want to teach. I have zero desire to. That sounds extremely boring to me. So, and I have, 13 years worth of clients that I'm really dedicated to. I'm really dedicated to my client list. And I like actually physically performing the work myself. And I just, I don't know, teaching isn't appealing to me at all. So I would much rather, I need to be more creative than that. And working with my clients allows me to be creative with my magic. And honestly, I don't have the time. I work 6 days a week. So there's no way I would have time to teach somebody even if I wanted to. How do I use my Moldavite? I would use Moldavite in gridding to add extra sort of transformative power to a working. That would be a great one to use with like working with Ogun for like removing obstacles and things like that, in my opinion, because of the impact of it, So, hey everyone. Okay, I'm just about to sign off. I do offer consultations, but it's not. It's consultations on. I mean, I offer a professional service, so that's what the consultations are on. I don't just sort of let people pick my brain. I'm sorry. I have boundaries. I have time constraints. I have a family. I have a household to run. I have a business to run. So I don't, I typically, I will try my best to answer an email that is maybe wanting some advice on spell components, but I don't just let people pick my brain. I'm sorry. So actually, I'm not sorry. That's how I work. So I don't, I have my education and I've worked really hard for my education. And so um, that is, and people, it's research and trial and error is the best way to learn. Okay, guys, I am going to sign off. It was so nice to talk to you all today. Enjoy the rest of your week. We're having beautiful weather here, so I hope that it is beautiful wherever you are. And if it's not, try to make it that way with your state of mind and just try to appreciate everything around you that is beautiful and wonderful, and try to find gratitude in your life today. You guys be blessed and take care, okay? Okay. Bye, everyone.